Well, I want to point that again, he didn't address my argument. I'm making the affirmative claim here, so he needs to deal with the argument that's being made. And as I already predicted, it's a massive appeal to his own interpretation of verses, and then he rants on him with the logical fallacy of the argument of incredulity. What he needs to do is the argument's being made that we can't even use logic. You talked about this is irrational. The point is, how do you even get reason? Can you make an objective claim? In the first place, you are yourself agnostic, and therefore you have no justification or metaphysical basis for truth, for epistemology, for ethics. So as I said, we can go ahead and grant, just for the purpose of the debate, I'm going to grant you that it's a Jewish psyop. It's all
That's
to get
not what I'm arguing today. I don't have to argue
worship
that.
the Jews. I'm going to grant it to you. I'm still arguing that the 7 ecumenical councils and the paradigm of the Eastern Orthodox Church is a way more coherent worldview than anything you can muster tonight. It's embarrassing.
There's nothing coherent about the Bible.
You think about all the things. Okay, that's all interpretation of Scripture, and that's based that I have a presupposition regarding the faith of the tradition of the Eastern Orthodox Church. You have a presupposition that this is ridiculous, that religion's made. Okay, we establish it. We know your opinion. We know my opinion. Now the point is to find out which paradigm of opinion is actually more coherent. So begin with justifying how you can even make an objective claim.
You see, I'm not going to get into these
little
orthodox. Hold on, let me respond. You just talked for a minute,
debate.
and I say 2 sentences, and you try to cut me off. The Orthodox Christians always try to do this same exact trick. Try to argue that you can't have any truth. I've done this before with several Christians.
Then you should have been ready.
You can't have any truth without God. This is a fallacious argument.
Hey, David, let's let Adam finish.
Patrick, let him get in there.
Also, I had my prepared opening statement. I said in the very beginning that I would address your opening statement once we got to the back and forth, right? So you're not being dishonest saying I didn't address your arguments, right? And it's not the argument of incredulity at all. It's what's more plausible. All of these miraculous things in the Bible are true.
What's more plausible? Which paradigm?
Yes. What's more likely? Some ancient Israelites made up these stories, or they actually happened. What's the more simple, logical?
You're saying they're illogical, but you have no basis for logic.
Yes,
so stop
yes,
saying
I do.
anything in the Bible.
The same logic. We all have the same basis for logic. This whole argument that you can't have any logic or morality or truth without God. This is a fallacious argument. It's begging the question. It's circular logic. It's saying you can't have truth without God. That's like saying logos is true because it's truth. It's a circular argument.
That's not what's being argued, brother.
Yes, it is.
No, because you don't have to believe in logos to have a justificatory basis for metaphysics. You could be a panpsychist. You could have different understandings. You can have metaphysical bases that aren't Orthodox Christianity. It's that once then you be able to justify it, then we can determine which paradigm actually makes more sense and which is more coherent and can account for more things. So this is the basis of it. Don't even talk about the Bible and illogic if you can't even account for logic.
It's funny how you want to stay as far away from the ridiculous Hebrew Torah as you can.
The point is that you have presuppositions. We all have presuppositions. We're addressing the presuppositions first.
Yeah, you made it about 30 seconds in before you talked about your presupposed arguments. You
actually,
presuppose that God has to be the answer to everything. That's called confirmation bias.
That's not what I've argued, brother. Have you not following the argument here?
No, I'm following just fine. I understand Christianity. This argument that
all right,
this argument
guys,
that
we can't understand what you're saying.
Hang on, we can't understand. We can't understand because you're talking over each
one
other.
Statement, and
I'll
let you
start with that. I'll let you move over.
Stop talking. What needs to happen here is a question needs to get sent to the other side because there's been a lot of you are, no, I'm not, that kind of deal going on. So, Adam, can you send David a question?
Right. I don't like the argument that you say if you don't believe like you do, you must not understand.
That's not the argument. That's not the argument.
That's what you guys always do. I see
in
the comments
I'm my guy. I'm making an
time.
argument. Brother, listen to the argument.
If I don't agree with you, it's because I don't understand.
Stop debating. Come here.
We're
here. We're here now.
Okay.
We're in a debate.
Right.
Listen to the word that come out of my mouth and listen to my arguments.
Here's a question.
Let's hear it.
Here's a question.
Let's hear it.
Do you really think it's more plausible that all of these miracles in the Bible happened and
hermeneutics?
Somebody made it up?
The debate's not about hermeneutics.
Okay, these aren't my interpretations. The scripture.
Not about hermeneutics.
You see, Michael Jones tried to use this same trick. Only the scripture. So you want to run from the scripture and rely on what the
scripture. My point is you have a
presupposition
the way you interpret scripture. We have different presuppositions. We're going to interpret scripture differently. I'm not interested in catty debates.
Let's talk about your interpretation then, so we can discuss.
My opinion. No, this is my opinion. We're not doing that.
Okay.
We're actually doing something objective here, and we're using theories of truth, coherency. Which paradigm is more coherent? That way we can have an objective measure.
Okay, let's talk about what's coherent then.
And who loses the debate.
Okay, let's talk about what's coherent.
Jump into this debate and start.
Is it coherent to say that humanity started with Adam being poofed into existence from mud? Do you think that's a good explanation? Do you believe that?
That is not the claim that's being made.
You don't take it literal? You don't think God created Adam and Eve?
Well, my hermeneutic is based on the Eastern Orthodox Church. If you want to know my opinion on any verse, any aspect of Scripture, refer to the Eastern Orthodox Church.
You delegate all your thinking to some authority?
The debate is Christianity true? There's only two ways to prove something is true. It either corresponds to observable reality or it has a coherence, which is based on the laws of logic. And which one can account for more things?
Who do you think wrote Genesis?
Irrelevant question.
Moses?
Irrelevant question. Irrelevant to the debate. You see what I'm saying, guys?
Don't talk about coherent arguments when you dismiss an affirmative claim. The basis for your religion.
I'm making an affirmative
Adam,
claim.
So
I'm using the tag argument.
Yeah. Maybe I can try to frame this up better. So his assertion is he's saying Christianity is true. My worldview is more coherent than yours based on these arguments. And those are the arguments that he listed. Those arguments being that he has a grounding for logic. He has a grounding for all of these different things that he stated. So he's passing it to you and saying, if that's true, and I'm making this affirmative statement that it is true and that Christianity is true based on these things that I believe, if you think that it's not true, you need to challenge those things. That's completely fair to do, man. Okay,
so do you think this is coherent? The idea that God will create Adam and
Eve. How do you have objective truth?
And create
Okay. I'm not here to debate hermeneutics. I'm not here to debate hermeneutics.
You don't want to debate Christianity.
I am debating Christianity.
You can't know truth without God.
Hey, stop.
You're stuck in circular logic.
Stop, both of you. Andrew, to move this forward, is it fair?
We know we can't move it. Listen. No. It's foundational. It cannot be moved forward until this is decided. Yes. We're talking about how we're grounding the things that we are trying to discuss. We can't, Pedro. It can't be moved forward until this is moved
forward, bro.
Every Orthodox debate turns into how do you know truth? How do you know truth?
Chill out, guys. Stop.
This is not.
It's tedious.
It's not orthodoxy that would assert this. This is just philosophy. We're just talking about grounding now. That's it. That's all he's talking about.
It's not even in the Bible. I already addressed this in my opening statement. It's not even biblical. It doesn't even prove the Christian God.
I'm going to.
Oh my God. Okay, is this coherent? This is what's not coherent about Christianity.
We're talking about paradigms.
The idea that
I'm
God
not
would
interested
need
in the coherency of your interpretation of Scripture.
Okay.
Stop
it's
going
not my
to your interpretation of Scripture. I don't care.
Can we not agree on what the Scriptures actually say?
No, because we have different presuppositions.
You don't care what they say, huh? You have whatever Orthodox pilpul you want to explain away all the absurdities in the Bible.
Obviously, I care what they say as a Christian. But I'm not here to make an affirmative claim for the truth of Christianity based on Scripture, because we don't both believe in the authority of Scripture.
Do you believe I'm using something that we both really turn to snakes?
Stop speaking.
Is that coherent?
I'm using logic. Do you believe in logic?
No, you're not.
Do you believe in logic?
Using logic tricks. These are tricks. This is pilpul. This is mental gymnastics.
That's not.
It is. Brother, it's deflection. You're deflecting away from the Bible.
Brother, you're trying to tell me I'm false. You're trying to tell me you're making a truth claim in the debate.
I'm saying the Bible's false, and you're wrong to believe it.
That's a truth claim, right?
Yes.
How can you justify objective truth claims within your worldview?
Because we all have brains. We can
so then we're all true. Then everybody's brain produces truth.
Any miracles?
Everybody's brain produces
miracles?
Truth.
Have you ever seen a woman turn to a pillar of salt or a staff turn into a snake?
Irrelevant. He totally deflects.
This is really embarrassing for you.
It is embarrassing.
You can't discuss any of your theology in any of the scriptures. That's really sad.
Listen, that would have been a proposition. Is theology true? What he's saying is Christianity true What he just said was, again, this is my grounding, my foundation for whatever my argument is. He's just asking for what your grounding and foundation is, so that they can make so then you guys can actually have an argument about which is more coherent.
Exactly.
Are we comparing
that's how
paradigms, or are we discussing if Christianity is true? This whole game,
brother, if you
can't have truth if you don't have God. That's a fallacious argument. That's a circular argument. It's begging the question. It's saying I'm right because I'm right because the way you set up
that's not the argument at all. Does this guy
premise.
not understand what we're doing here?
Okay. How do I know that staffs don't turn to snake? Because it's never been observed. It's never happened. Why did all these miracles happen?
You're still making a truth claim, whether it can happen or not. We haven't
based.
This is pointless.
Guys.
This is totally pointless. You guys are such a waste of time. This is pathetic.
It's not. Well, wait.
It is. It seriously is.
Pedro, please stop. Just let us talk, bro.
Yeah,
please.
Let it go. Let it go.
We got to get to the basis of his epistemology. There's no point in talking or breaking up. If he can't make the fact that he can make objective claims in his paradigm, then it's over. So please stop. There's no moving forward.
If you can't even
prove that he can even make objective claims, he thinks truth is in your brain.
You can't.
That's a redundant, contradictory statement regarding epistemology.
Your transcendental argument that you can't have truth or morals or these things, knowing what's true without God, is a fallacious argument.
You can use the
tag
argument,
God of the Bible is not even moral, so you should just throw out that argument.
Where do you get your morality,
Adam?
Give me the basis of your objective morality. What's it from?
There's plenty of books and plenty.
I don't care about. Tell me yours, bro. Tell me yours.
Like this is a got you question.
No, it's not. It shows you that you're relativist. It shows you that your social groups. Nonsense, bro.
Yeah, it is. It is relative.
It's
relative. It's relative to you too. Whatever your authority at the Orthodox Church decided on, that's what's the truth to you. It's relative. It's open to your interpretation.
Not, I'm making an objective claim. That's not relative, dude. You don't even know what you're talking about. You literally have no basis in philosophy. All you have is these different quote minds and these interpretation of text. That's your whole argument. Your whole argument is quote mining interpretations of the Old Testament.